dear students, we need to know the differences between primary research and then secondary sources, right? Because when we are using these studies and these sources in our research work, we must know that which one is a primary research and which one is a secondary source, right? So that's an important point, and we must be using them in our studies. We know that primary research is basically the only way in scientific studies. That's the only way that is used to find answers to our research questions. Okay, so primary research is really important, and the point is that not all primary research is of equal weight. That's an important point. We must know that which study is really important, which is really a valid, a reliable, or an authentic study, right? So we must know that all primary researchers are not of equal value. They are not of equal weight, right? So we must know, and we must know that what criteria are used for determining, in order to determine that which study is more important and which one is more authentic, right? So there are two criteria basically for considering the importance of a research study, and then for declaring that this is something authentic, something really reliable, and that must be used as an evidence or as a proof, right? So we must be using two criteria, and it is used in research publications. Number one is the review by a reviewer, right? Refereed, right? When it is referred by a reviewer, right? So one criteria is refereed, and the second is blind review, right? So one, that it is reviewed, and the second is that it is blindly reviewed. By blind review, we mean that neither the reviewer and nor the researcher know each other, right? The researcher does not know that to whom his or her research publication, under publication work is sent by the by the examination system or by the journal editors, right? So the researcher does not know that who is reviewing his or her work. Similarly, the reviewer does not know that whose work he or she is reviewing. So this is called blind review. So number one, when it is reviewed, and number second, when it is blindly reviewed. So it's a criteria which is used in publication. And there are, examples like the TESOL Quarterly, which is a journal. They are using this blind review system. And every standard journal is using this blind review system. And even as per HEC, Higher Education Commission's criteria for categorization, right? The research journals in Pakistan, even they are bound to go for blind review. So we must know as researcher that what is blind review and what are these criteria which are used for publications, okay? So the next question is that how can we distinguish between primary research and a position paper or a concept paper? We may be guessing it from the title of the work, right? That whether it is a research work, a primary research work, or it is something which is prepared as, which is written as a position paper, right? So it could be like we may be using from the title, but most of the time there are titles which does not show, which do not show that whether the publication is primary research or it's like a concept paper or a position paper. Then we must also know that what terms, what techniques are used in the title, and what is meant by those titles and those terms. And then as an active researcher, a student must know that how these terms and techniques are used, and how can we distinguish a primary research paper or a primary research work from position paper or literature reviews, right? So let me just take you to these few titles. If you just go to the first title shows that it is a longitudinal study of the relation between language and theory of mind development. right? It's a title of a paper written by Estington, Janet Wild, Jenkins, Jennifer M., 1999. So that's the reference. And this work, this primary research, it is primary research because it is clear from the title, longitudinal study, right? So longitudinal study, it's a term which shows that it is a study which consider data from 2 time periods, right? So these terms, basically such terms show that whether the work is a primary research or a position paper, okay? It's given in ERIC. I've taken it from ERIC, right? And then the second title, this title, an oral interview procedure for assessing second language abilities in children, right? So it is not clear from this title that whether it is a position paper or a primary research, because nothing is given in the title. It's not clear from any term, an oral interview procedure for assessing second language abilities in children. So it may be, a position paper by Kathy et al., 1995, okay? And similarly, this one, preference organization in oral proficiency interviews, the case of language ability assessment, right? So this one shows from the term, the case, right, so that it might be a case study, right? So we can just guess from the titles, and then we can also use the information which is given in databases, preliminary sources. They also provide some information related to the research studies, that whether they are, primary researches or position papers. One more example which I would like to share with you is this abstract, which is, given again in a database. And this database is actually maintaining this way, like the title is there, title, aptitude for learning a foreign language. So this is the title. But from this title, again, we cannot actually determine that whether it's a primary study or a position paper, because nothing is clear from this title, aptitude for learning a foreign language, okay? And authors are Sparks Richard and Genshaw Lenore. And the publication year is 2001. And journal citation is again there. It's journal citation. Annual Review of Applied Linguistics. Volume is 21. There is 21st volume of the journal. And pages are from 90 to 111. And it was accepted for publication in 2001. So you must know all these steps. As a researcher, you must know that how these things are interpreted. And then the abstract is given here. But here is a point. Here is a point that it's a review. This review term, review, and this shows that it's a position paper. It's not a primary research because it's a review. Review research on foreign language aptitude and its measurement prior to 1990, right? So it's a review, and it's a review research. So as researcher, you must know that how would you distinguish between these two types of works, like the primary research and the position papers. And with practice, you would definitely come to a point where you would easily understand them.